It's every color in the rainbow and then some. It's like your eyes are drooling. And now on to a man who had a very colorful racing career, Bobby Rahal. He's done everything from Can-Am to NASCAR to F1, and now he's introducing Legends of Motorsports.
It's really great for me to be here, and what a fantastic reception. Thank you so much for your support. Three of us, myself and my partner Zach Brown and Peter Stoneberg, who are all equally passionate about the sport, decided about a little over a year ago, that we wanted to start to produce historic motorsports events.
So let's start this from the top. How do you define legend?
How do you define legend? That's a good question. I think legend is based on a person or a car's, in our terms, a car's success over a period of time.
And why do you think it's important to actually continue to race vintage cars? What does that do for the racing community? Why is that a part of the culture?
Well, because I think, number one, this was part of the culture, and if you're a real racing fan, one, you appreciate most forms of racing, if not all of them. But I think for most people, the historic cars are so different from what's out there today. Everything today, they all sound the same, they all look the same. You look at a Formula One car, that you wouldn't, if they didn't have the paint scheme on them, you couldn't tell one apart from the other. When you combine, the uniqueness of every car that existed during those days, plus, the stories that surround them, all those things really become attractive to people who follow the sport.
You said something earlier which I just absolutely love, which is that this is almost a living museum and it's very accessible. Can you touch on that a little more?
Well, when I say living museum, I mean each of these cars is a story. There's history. It might be 20, 30, 40 years of history, and what drivers drove them, what races did they win. Look at this car, it's got disc brakes, which were brand new then, versus this car that had drum brakes. I mean, you see the evolution of the racing car. So it really becomes an educational process as much as a sporting entertainment.
I want to talk a little bit about the community and the culture and the entire experience of the Legends of Motorsports, because it's not really just a race. There's a lot of other things going on. Why is that so important?
Well, we think creating events that surround the racing themselves just makes it more exciting and more attractive to people. We'll have car shows. We'll have fashion shows. The great events in England, for example, Goodwood, everybody gets dressed up like it was 1955 or 65. Well, since most of our series cars are from the 60s, we're gonna have contests for people who can look like they're from the 60s the best. There'll be go-go boots and mini skirts, and there's gonna be rock music playing that's relevant to the period of time that the cars were. So it's gonna be, as I say, it's more than just a car race, and we think that is gonna make it much more attractive to people who may not be the greatest fans in the world, but like what they hear and they want to come up and experience it. And I think when they come up and experience it, they'll come back the next year.